I went through the syllabus and I picked them out, each one of these that we have here. These are 9 of them that here, but each one of these here is a whole section on the syllabus. Okay, only 2 sections missing. Accounting as a profession, that is section 1, and the section with manufacturing account, I think that is 10. Okay, so you have almost the whole syllabus they give you, right? If you're not doing the SBA and I don't think there's anybody like that in this class. So we have here paper 3 and paper 2 on this side here, the paper that we are interested in. Okay, um, we have them going from 1 to 9, these topics here. So what that, since they give us so many topics, I was expecting that they would give us 5 topics and 5 questions. What it means is each one of the questions will have more than one part, and it would be dealing with different topics. Okay. So what I did was I went through the syllabus and I let you know what each one of these would have involved in them, right? The first one is the ledgers and the trial balance. That is section 4, right? And this is what you could expect to see from in there. I have all the items from the syllabus here from section 4. It looks long, but isn't really all that long, right? The first part is to deal with classification of accounts, nominal and real and personal accounts. And you should be able to tell what type of accounts an account is. Okay, so those nice little part C's that and part B's that you get where it asks you to identify the number, sorry, identify the account, what type it is. This you would have to be able to do, right? Then you have the different types of ledgers for recording the nominal, real, and personal accounts. General ledger, sales accounts, and purchases accounts. Sales go in the accounts receivable, purchases go in the accounts payable. Rules of entry for assets, liabilities, and income, capital and expenses. You must know when to debit and when to credit. So you have to go back to those tables and memorize them if you haven't memorized them up to now. Same thing would go for all these here. Marry them down on a piece of card or something, and wherever you're going, you could get prepared for this whole question here on ledgers and the trial balance, right? And this side here, the rest of here is more practicing. You have to practice to record transactions and accounts using the double entry and posting to the general and subsidiary ledgers in total from the books of original entry. And then how to balance accounts, carry down and bring down those balances. Significance of the balance brought down as the amount carried into the next month, and how to prepare trial balance. I have 2 YouTube videos upon that you should be able to, and it should also be in the classroom. Uses and limitations of the trial balance, right? This is merely a reading exercise that you need to learn 1 or 2 of them from. So you could have, and this is all the possibilities for ledgers and trial balance. And if you are able to carry out all your revision in this year, you should be able to have that question covered. The next topic they have there is accounting as a system. Right, accounting as a system. That's the second one in line. That is section 2 of your syllabus, and it has these things here. All right. This here, the financial statements is not the full financial statement, but this is where we introduce it. This is looking at simple balance sheets and income statement and cash flow. All right. The accounting concepts and conventions. I had done a class with that on you. The video is up on YouTube, and you can also get it back in the classroom as well. And accrual or matching, this deal here deals with end of period adjustments. You might not know them by that name, but you are utilizing these principles when you do end of period adjustments. Okay, but you should read through them in your book or Google it, and you will get what these items are. Make a 2 or 3 lines definition of it, and have that prepared in case this comes in your exam here, right? The accounting cycle, which is diagrammatic representation, you should know the 6th step as well as the 9th step. Okay. Types of business organization. I did a video. I don't think I did a video on that, but I did a PowerPoint presentation with you, and this is also up in the classroom. Right. So we have here on this side. This is the different type of software that they use for. You don't need to know how to use it, but you need to know what they use them for. Things like payroll and inventory and receivables and payables, right? You need to remember those 4. And if you can get the names of some of the softwares here, it could be easy on our part B or part C, right? Then we have advantages and disadvantages of using the computer in accounting. Right, 2 main advantages would be speed and accuracy, right? Definition and purpose of a balance sheet. We know what a balance sheet is, a statement of financial position, blah, 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 right? Balance sheet equation, asset equal capital plus liabilities, or any variation of this equation here, right? It's also known as the accounting equation. And we need to have definitions for assets, liabilities, and capital prepared. I would suggest you write them down in some small pieces of paper, walk around with them, and that's how you learn definitions. All right, definition and examples of non-current assets, current liabilities, non-current liabilities, okay? We know what these are from our classified balance sheet, and we need to know how to prepare simple balance sheet here, arrangements of the liabilities and assets in order of permanence and liquidity. Okay. And permanence means the one with the longer life in the business comes at the top. If you're doing it in descending order, doing ascending order is the other way around. Liquidity is how quickly or easily it could turn into cash, right? Effects of balance sheet items, increase or decrease in items. We know that from our double entry as well. So these here shouldn't be a problem to think, but basically it's saying we are getting at least a section of a question on accounting as a system. So you have all the items here. I'll put this up in a classroom as well, and you would be able to see it there and make your own notes and what you want to do out of the 9 topics. If you could cover all of them, fine. If you can't, make sure you do at least 6 of them. Okay? Right, we have the books of original entries. And again, it's looking long, but it isn't all that long. Like things like a sales invoice is a short thing, purchase invoice. But you know these, you know both of them, the source documents, and which book to record them in. You should be also acquainted with how they drawn up, right? Then we have the books themselves, the general journal. You have to know which one of these items here goes in which book here, right? And the cash and credit transactions, the use of forms of payment, including cash, checks, credit cards, and debit cards, right? I did a session on that with you when we were doing banking, okay, and bank reconciliations. So this has a very nice I have a very nice video on this. The same one that we did in class covers the whole thing, and it's there in the YouTube channel. You can look at it again. It has been getting a lot of views from students all around the Caribbean. So if you haven't looked at it, you look at it for your revision. And this is another part of the same section. The use of source document prepared to create transactions, right? Record the transaction using source documents in these books here. Treatment of trade discounts and cash discounts, right? Trade discounts are not recorded. Cash discounts are recorded in the cash book. And you should know how to calculate them. Just calculating the percentage of a figure, right? Balancing of the cash book, okay? This normally carries 4 or 5 marks sometimes in an exam. And it's a simple affair. I think I have a lesson on that in the Form 4 classroom. I'll see if I put it over in the Form 5 classroom as well. And there is a video on the YouTube channel with it as well. Same to the petty cash book and the impress system. The significance of the balances brought down in the cash books, right? It means the money you have left over for the next month, and the treatment of totals on the books of original entry, the day books, how you transfer them into the control accounts and the accounts in the general ledger. Okay, the accounting adjustment, this is section 6 in your syllabus. And here we utilize mostly the general journal to make journal entries for these here, prepayments, prepaid expenses, and advance revenues, accruals, accrued expenses, and revenues. I think this was the first session we did in Form 5, and you would find most of them there. There are links to videos in the classroom dealing with these, because at the time I didn't think it worthwhile to reinvent the wheels, but it's the same thing, and you need to learn how to make the journal entries and the ledger account. This would take some practicing. It's the same as in the accounts, it's the same as in the journal entry. In the income statement and the balance sheet, in the income statement, you add on the accruals and then minus the prepayment, right? Then we have the other types of adjusting journal entries. Depreciation, this adjust the fixed asset, so the non-current asset, right? These here would have adjusted the current assets and the current liabilities. The depreciation adjusts the non-current assets, and we have to know 2 methods: the straight line method, reducing balance method. Simple math here, and you have to know which account to put them in: the profit and loss account and the provision for depreciation account. Right? So again, journal entries again are required here, and I did a video with the Form 4. And because we are now doing this here, and it's currently up on the YouTube channel, so you can take a look at the depreciation there. It's fairly comprehensive, okay? And prepayments and accruals, this is just giving us a breakdown of this here. So we indicate where the accruals and prepayments will appear on the balance sheet. That is right, accruals will go under current liabilities, and the prepaid expenses under current assets. the preparation of adjusted financial statements. That's after you put in your depreciation on your prepaid and accrued, you must be able to produce the adjusted financial statement. Okay, the next section they have is control systems, right? And this is the control systems. These three we have here, in addition to the trial balance, is also seen as a control system because it helps to control your ledger accounts. Okay, the need for and the uses of control systems, most of them are used to detect errors, right, and correct them. Okay, so this side here, we did everything here. My bank reconciliation PowerPoint presentation is in the classroom. It's also in a video form on YouTube. It's fairly comprehensive and it covers just about everything you need to know in there. Similarly, with the correction of errors, I will do another set from the past papers because I know students have problems here, right? The suspense account, same thing. Students have problem here, but there's one or two videos I have up on the YouTube channel dealing with that again. And the control account, same thing. Okay, now with something with the control accounts, you need to learn them off by heart, right? What goes on the debit side and what goes on the credit side. So when you get something like that in an exam, it's always either you know it or you don't know it business. And it's something that you could simply spend a half an hour memorizing them. And when you go into the exam, you can easily make full marks on them, right? They are always the same, just the figures will be changing. And on presented checks, these are the items that you need to know in your cash book for updating your cash book, right? The two steps in the creating of the bank reconciliation statement. One of them is updating the cash book, and then the other is doing the reconciliation itself, right? Uses and construction of the bank reconciliation statement. Right, preparation and analysis of financial statement of the sole trader. Okay, I recently did this with the Form 4s again, and you would see a video up in the YouTube channel. I will try to transfer it over to your classroom as well, the PowerPoint presentation, so you can look at it. But most books, any book you can get your hand on, will give you a good thing on these, right? The income statement, trade and profit and loss section, and the balance sheet. And you're doing it for sole traders. Make sure you know how to put in the working capital. Definition of working capital is given to you here. And the ratios, I have a comprehensive PowerPoint presentation in your classroom on the ratios. And it's also in video form on the YouTube channel that you can go and look at it. It's receiving the most views currently. And you can look at that. Although the audio is a bit slow because I normally take my time and teach. Just sit with it and look through the whole video because you don't know which ratio they could bring in your exam. And they are telling us here that they're going to bring the ratios in your exam, right? Simple report. Okay, you can do the reports just like how I showed you in the PowerPoint presentation and in the video. Okay, so here you might need to memorize those ratios. Think about 3 profitability and about 2 or 3 liquidity, and then you have the performance ratio, the uh, rows report on the capital employed. Next, we have limited liability company, section 9, the features of the limited liability company, the types of limited liability company that you have. These are all reading in just a few pages in a textbook, and you could know this thing here, right? Methods of raising capital, the preference shares, ordinary shares, and debentures and bank loans and so on, like that. So, okay, this is a nice area that they keep asking in a part B and a part C. Okay, so the shareholders' equity, share capital, and the reserves, types of shares, rights and privileges of owners for each type of shares, the right, which one of them have the right to vote, and which one of them just provide capital, right? Journal entries to record capital, calculation of dividend payment, appropriation of profit, dividends, and reserve. I had all this in a PowerPoint presentation, and I think I did one or two questions from the past papers that are up in the YouTube channel. Final accounts of limited liabilities company, right? That's your income statement and your balance sheet, right? You remember to learn it in vertical format, right? Because that is what is needed for companies. You must show the working capital. Calculation and interpretation of accounting ratios, right? We already did that. But you have to do it for companies as well. Okay. And then we have preparation of receipts and payments account only, right? They do not give you the income and expenditure account here anymore, right? Entrepreneur, there's a new section on the thing. It has some old stuff in it, like the wages and salaries. I have a couple of fairly good videos and PowerPoint presentation on these, and the how you pay your employees and how the source documents and so on are made up, and what type of software you use. If you just need to know the names of the software here, and you need to know how to calculate gross pay and calculate overtime and make the statutory deductions, just a percentage of either your gross or your taxable income. Preparation of simple cash flow production. We did that a couple of weeks ago. Inflow of sales, owner's equity, cash flow, and surplus profit outflows. Okay, so it's there, and apparently they're going to bring it this year. I don't think it looks like wages and salaries because they haven't tested this yet on the 3 years that it's in the 3 years, 4 years now, right? 17, 18, 19. Well, they didn't get an opportunity in 2020, but this might be the year for this, right? So make sure you can make your business plans, and you can also make simple cash flow statements. The partnerships, right? Some of the things have been removed, like goodwill and so on. And so if you're looking at them old past papers, right? I have a very good PowerPoint presentation on partnerships. I think I have two and a couple of videos on the YouTube channel as well, right? Reason for formation, features of the partnership, share of profit, interest on capital, drawing salaries, the capital account for partners, methods of sharing profits and losses, and the preparation of the appropriation account. The current account prepared with items posted from the appropriation account, the significance of the debit and credit balances brought down, and the treatment of current account balances on the balance sheet. Emphasis on the capital section. Okay, section of the balance sheet. Okay, so that brings us to the end there of the topics. If you have any questions, I know that I went through it at rapid speed. So the intention really is to